Now we should be live.
Let's see. Hey.
Excellent connection, it says, too.
Is it working?
Hey, there it is.
Hey!
Yeah, we're there. We're live.
Look at that. Yeah, it's working.
I got chat pulled up here as well, so... hi, guys. We're going live... Wait, hold on. Before I'm jumping too far into it. Hey, guys. We are Pints and Pistons. We're a podcast, and we're on YouTube, and we talk about... cars, or well, just anything with an engine, really.
Yeah,
and whatever pops into our head.
And we review new beers every time. Sometimes, we obviously fall upon a beer we've already had, but we try a new beer. We talk about car stuff, engine stuff, things like that, and we just have a good time. And people chime in and chat. We talk to them. We chill.
And occasionally food gets brought into the conversation because
we're all foodies too, as well.
Yeah.
So,
and so we all like to eat.
We do.
We are a beard short.
Yes.
Sadly. Well, not sadly. Chris is going and doing a new job right now. He got called to be the shop foreman at Hogwarts, so he is...
He's going to Hogwarts. He's got to work on all the brooms.
Yeah. So he's the new shop foreman at Hogwarts. So
I hope they have fun tomorrow.
Practicing with all that stuff, so...
The wizard.
So he was
probably better than working with Kia.
Yeah. he was doing the wand test.
Yeah.
Had to figure that stuff out.
And tonight
they're on vacation, so
yeah.
and tonight we're doing our first ever stream from Mike and Sabrina's new laptop, and it's working great. We're just using our old equipment, so it doesn't look as pretty.
Yeah,
Chris. Unfortunately, Chris's really really nice camera is also on vacation, so we're kind of a little bit of new school, a little bit of old school, but still our typical low tech style.
Yeah. And it's working great, to be honest.
Yeah, like I said, that camera's set up, plugged in, no problem.
Still got the mic that's been sitting out here for a month and a half.
Yeah,
the mic works great.
The littlest mic is also working. So,
and I think we could probably just jump right into.
Yeah, I really want a beer.
Yes.
Mine and Brian.
I would say do his first, so we don't end.
Here?
No, they're both in there. But do his first, so we don't end on a disappointing note.
You'll know which one's mine. So anyway, yeah.
So I haven't had any real good car spots other than at shows and stuff like that.
I haven't. I mean,
I did see something in Ocala yesterday that did it blows my mind every time I see one of these. It was a metallic black, really really clean RX-8.
Okay, I need more details because both of them have almost the same artwork and both of them have finned creatures.
Mine's Lost Coast.
Yeah. We picked two with finned creatures.
Yeah, mine's Lost Coast Great White. It's some kind of white ale or pills or something. All I know was when I was looking at the labels on it, that one sounded really refreshing on a hot day. So.
Mine is Florida Avenue's Luminescence Hazy IPA.
As long as it doesn't have any hibiscus shit in it.
No hibiscus. And I know that hazies tend to do decent with you, so I kind of figured it might be the safe shot for an IPA.
Well... Yeah, it won't be the first one I've disliked, so it's fine.
No worries.
When I was realizing dancing, I'm like, it's probably going to be an IPA. So I've already steeled myself for this.
But I really haven't. I mean, I've seen some things I've seen before.
But no, like I said, it was a really clean metallic black RX-8, motivating, no smoke or apex seals coming out.
Nice.
It was just zooming along just fine.
Yeah, because that other one you saw, I've seen the guy around. He's a younger guy, and he has it for sale, and it is in it's a low mile example, under sub 100,000 miles, and it's fantastic condition. Thank you very much.
That one's Dan's.
That one's mine. Lumi is short for luminescence.
See how this goes.
Well, it was just one of those. Literally, they both almost have the same artwork.
Creatures.
They both have finned creatures on it.
Yours has a moon. Yours has jellyfish.
I got a flamingo floating.
A dolphin.
And they're literally the cans are almost the same color too. I opened it up. I'm like, wait a second. Wait a second. It's the same damn thing.
So, and as you saw, this did not come in a box. There is no read-in. It's brewed for sharing. Florida Avenue's Lumi Hazy IPA. On the barcode label, it said Luminescence, so I'm assuming it's the full name. And
God, it's hazy, all right. I can see it hazy as it's coming out of the can.
But yeah, I saw a really clean Triumph TR6 today.
Speaking
I
of
saw-
that, my neighbors across the street that are building a house.
Yeah.
One of their buddies that comes over and helps them has
That's
a
a Triumph.
really nice TR6, and it sounds.
What
good.
color is it?
Like it's either black or really dark green. But this
Okay.
thing is like
No, the one I saw
this thing
was
is
red.
ridiculously clean.
Yeah.
And it has just the perfect Rover Triumph
Well,
straight six
sound,
exhaust
yeah.
note to it.
I
Like
did-
it's
I did see that Jag that I texted the group chat about. Like, I was coming up on 44 and 491, and I see this gray Jag come up to the light and start going around the corner. I was like, ooh, Jag looks like probably a V12 car. And then all hell broke loose. Tires were spinning, and some of the most glorious V12 noises I've ever heard. I heard. And unfortunately, I was at the light so long, and I was a couple cars back, I couldn't catch up or anything, but it looked like an elderly gentleman, and he was giving her the beans.
And then 5 minutes later, it was on the back of a tow truck. I
That
saw something today before we go into this.
Good.
On the Parkway, I saw
That's it.
one of those new Chargers, Annette. Like, I know you have one at your work, but
I have to show you the actual video.
the color of this, I
Which color
really
was it?
like a dark blue.
Okay, so I've seen a dark
It's like
blue
a
one up
dark
here.
blue metallic.
That color
and-
is actually really nice.
And when the sun hit it, it looked pretty.
Oh.
It looked very, very
Yeah,
pretty.
this one was like it's like bass boat black.
Yeah.
It's super sparkly. But here, I'll play this for you, and the mic will get to pick up the great audio. And
Okay, I'll pick
I'm,
it up. Hold on.
I'm sorry,
I'm reaching.
I'm sorry too because I'm giggling because of how funny this is. But here is, and this is in sport mode, the exhaust note starting and going through. Just tap on the screen there. I think it should start playing somewhere. I started to sit. I stopped.
that's gay. It's gay.
It sounds like audio from an old video game, like an old racing video
It's yeah.
And
yeah.
inside the car,
Because it's Dodge. If they're gonna do something that's rather gay like that, they could have at least made it sound like the Interceptor from the Wraith.
All right, gentlemen, cheers real quick before I keep talking about the funniness of it. Cheers, slancha, salute.
That's good. That's good.
That is pretty good.
This one does not take the happy out of my mouth.
It's smooth.
It was 7% too.
So also too, it has vibrating motors like in the steering wheel and the seat to make like when you're idling, they kind of lowly grumble your butt to make you feel like you're. Yeah, and then when you press on the gas, like it goes to the rhythm of like the RPM. Yeah.
Told you it's gay.
But I will say though, from a first-hand experience, the interior of that car is actually fantastic. Good evening, Mike from Old School's Garage. Hello.
Cheers.
I honestly really like the interior. It was very well designed, nice soft touch points, a really good general overall design.
It's unlike Tesla. Like
No, it was
Ford and Dodge have put really decent interiors.
When
into their
I
EVs.
sat in it, I felt like I was sitting in a true proper modern sports car.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was that feel of it.
I was gonna say the seats look really nice.
They were
Well,
cool.
that
They had
was-
these cool little designs in the middle and
Well,
everything.
like I said, that was my thing when I drove the F-150 Lightning. And granted, it was like a limited or a platinum. It was, you
Yeah.
know, a
top of the line.
It,
Yeah.
it was a top line because it was a mannequin car and all that. But compared to the Tesla interior, that's the one thing that Ford got right, even though it does have a big screen, which a lot of shit has now.
It's not a tablet glued longitudinally.
But not only
to the
that,
dashboard.
when you sat in the truck,
It felt
the
like you were in
gauge
a
cluster was a
regular-
little bit different. The dial for
Yeah.
the shifter was a little bit different.
But
Not a lot.
But if you didn't
then
know
when
it
you-
wasn't, if you were not a car person and you didn't know that it was an EV and got into that, you'd think it was just a normal.
Yeah, that's what it
F-150.
felt. It just felt like a really, really high option, high dollar F-150 inside, and that's exactly what it looked like. So that's where I think the legacy automakers get it right over, you know, the disruptors.
My biggest gripe though about the interior is after I got in it, I had the door open. I'm like, I wonder how it sounds with the door shut, and I shut the door, and then I couldn't figure out how to get out of the car. There's no door handles.
Yeah,
It's
it's
buttons.
like a button.
It's a button. and it's not an obvious button. And it's not a button with an obvious photo on it either.
That's what bugs me about so many of these EVs. Is like,
I could not figure out how to get out of it. Like, let me out!
But then also, with stuff like that, it's
a safety issue.
What happens in an accident? Like, I know they have to have, like, a little thing, but where do you have the little, the cable release? Where do you
have it? Like in some of the Teslas on the rear doors, it's buried behind a trim panel. You have to pop a trim panel off to get to the cable to release.
So you're dead already.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting...
And that's happened.
Yeah.
Say you're in the driver's seat and you're sitting in the new Charger, and, like, let's just say you're, like, normal driving, your arm rested. You're rested on the door panel and on the center console. So you think your natural motion with your hand would be go upward to open the door.
No, to go down.
It's below it, and it's a button only about this big, like, in the middle of a trim panel on the door. So you have to, like, go like this, and, like, it's, like, awkward. Like,
ergonomics were not strong.
Well, it's like
with
the
these people.
first.
And then, like I said,
first year of the Fox bodies, 79 and 80, the door handle instead of up at the top was down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And
well, my Z, my
on fire.
Well, my original first Gen Z, the door handle was at the bottom of the door card. Mm-hmm. But
when you sat
low enough in that car,
it was right
like
next to your
was
leg.
literally, your just hand went right down, and it was right there. So it was, it was still intuitive. Yeah. It was still one of those things you had to, and it was chrome on a black door card, so it's not it wasn't camouflage.
Well, it's one of the things that with the Expedition, like I really like where the inside door handles are because it's not like anything like that. It's the actual grab point of the door. It's inside the door, right there,
and that's a common place for them too.
So I really like that because it's one I don't have to go here and then push it. So I'm already grabbing the door, able to hit it and just swing it.
No, that's common. That's been done in a lot of cars before. And then I got into Dan's car
and was trying to get out of it, and I was instantly trying like that because I thought I'm in an SUV. Here's where the door handle should be, and it wasn't there.
Yes.
And Dan's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Trying to get out of the fucking car."
Welcome to Pints and Pistons, where door handles spark a conversation.
They do, and it's a legitimate conversation.
It is. That's
because there has been instances in a couple of Teslas where crash occurred and fire occurred, and people inside couldn't figure out how to open the goddamn doors.
Because honestly, dude, not for nothing, if you got into, let's say, like a serious car accident, you're disoriented from airbag and everything. You're not
door handle.
You're not going to go aim beam right into the button on the door panel.
Or
that's if it doesn't even work.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
I said, you don't necessarily know that the cable release is hidden behind a fucking trim panel that you have to pop off.
Yeah, that seriously sketched me out. But like I said, other than that though, I love the interior. It's very user friendly too. Mm-hmm. Other than the stupid frickin' button thing, and also, it's a big car.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very big car.
That's meant to be a 4-door.
Yeah.
Like you look at
because they're going to have the 6-packs too, right?
Yeah, you look at the size of that thing, you look at the roof line. It's a 4-door car.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I actually really do like the. I like it as a 2-door. Like it has that big coupe vibe, and like we don't have any more big coupes, so like I'm okay with that.
Build quality was a little bit on the outside. There was a couple body lines that didn't match up, and the big massive front splitter that's through the hood.
Okay, like not lined up. Are we talking like Mustang not lining up, or are we talking Tesla?
Tesla not lined up.
Checks out.
And like the big air dam that goes through the hood into the bumper.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So literally just grabbed that and shook it like this, and it almost popped off completely. And then I was like, I'm not touching that again.
Wow. So what did they trade it on? Or did they buy it at auction, or how did you guys...
So, we do all the window tinting at our dealership.
Uh-huh.
So, it's we tint every new car. It's a brand new car that's for sale at Dodge.
Oh, it wasn't a trade-in?
No.
Okay, because
it did get a funky trade-in, though.
Well, because like I said...
when you sent it, I thought,
I thought it was traded in, and I was like, already?
And that's why when you said it was only a stage 1, and I'm like, how is it a stage 1? Because all the ones that are for, like, that would be traded in now are... were the first release, and the first releases were all stage 2.
Yeah, like any car that's for sale at any of those dealers, if it gets tint, it's at our dealership.
Oh, okay.
Because
that's what I was like, I'm like, how did they get a stage 1 already?
It was a brand new car.
And like they traded it in, like they literally drove it off the lot and went to another dealership. Like, that's it.
Look at how many 24 and now early 25 Mustangs are already traded in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I took it for a spin, and then I was just genuinely curious for my own research purposes, and we were slow. I was like, can I get 3 of you guys to come ride with me? I want to see, like, how 4 adults would fit in this thing. And it was like a coupe. The two guys in the back were pretty scrunched, and I had to scrunch forward and to get everybody comfortable. Drive-wise, it drives very nice. It has the turning angle of a Toyota Tundra, if you know what I mean by that.
So the USS Enterprise.
Whoa! So
See, but
what's about?
I do like the hatch of it.
That was cool.
It doesn't
that
look
was really
like
cool.
you don't like. It does not look
Dude,
like
there's a lot
it
of
would
space
be
in the back,
a hatchback,
too.
and the way
A
that
lot.
it opens up amazingly.
Oh, it's nifty.
great access.
It is.
and like
I
there
agree
is
on
a bunch of room back there. Like I like that a lot. I do.
Yeah, but
So technically, it's a 3-door.
The problem with it is,
Yeah, I know.
it doesn't have a Hemi.
yeah, how much it
Like,
was?
like,
too?
that's it.
Yeah, how much it was too?
How much were they marked down? Because I've seen some ads from dealerships across the country where some of those things have like $20,000 marked downs on them.
This one was $60K. But anyway, the driving experience was comparable to probably. I haven't driven any of the Teslas. I've only ever driven like the Kia EVs. But from what I've been told, the EV6 is a lot comparable to the Model 3. And that's what it felt like to me. It felt like a crossover, kind of, just because how big the body was and everything, the turn radius. Stopped nicely, went through corners nicely, and of course acceleration was good, but a heavy plateau on... Oh, listen, Mike, you know as well as I do, there is already somebody out there right now doing that.
Well,
There's someone at Bloomington Hills that's already doing that.
Yeah.
No, they're supposedly bringing back
Yeah, they're starting up Hemi
Hemi
V8 production again. The engine
the
plant is gonna
Dodge
be-
went. We fucked up.
But
But
if he-
Well, no, it's the new guy that's the interim
Yeah.
CEO is
and
the
people
one
have
that's
already spotted prototype six-packs in the wild,
But
too.
Yeah.
also, the
I'm excited for the
they're
six-pack. I
about
think it's
to
gonna be
they're
awesome.
about to put the Hurricane into
Yeah, that's
it.
going to be the six-pack.
And after seeing a couple of those, so like there
Oh,
was 2 cars that ran
from
at
Sick
Sick
Week?
Week.
Yeah, a couple of pickup
That's what I'm
trucks.
saying. That motor and that,
Yeah.
that's going to be
Yeah.
fun.
And I know
that
that's gonna hurt people. That it's not a Hemi.
But, I mean, watching-
those things they
those-
sounded good.
But
They
those
really
were
did.
also those trucks were also running their stock ECUs
Yeah, it was
and
all- it
on
was
the
literally-
8 HP transmission.
Yeah, they were literally handed a crate motor and transmission and
I'm-
just go, here you go.
The main thing is, too, is I'm genuinely curious because you could feel how heavy the car is, and I looked it up. It's like 7,600 pounds.
Ugh.
I'm genuinely curious to...
How much lighter it'll be with
Yeah,
that.
with the six-pack in it. I think it's going to be pretty cool, actually.
But no, I actually really like that, and I'm actually excited that companies are bringing back the straight 6
Right.
because the
Me
straight
too.
6 went away.
Yeah.
And it's like a straight 6 sounds so much better than a V6.
So,
Like-
also, we got a weird, quirky thing traded in at the dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And not that the type of car is weird and quirky, but the circumstances around it. It is an 08 Chrysler Sebring convertible, platinum or whatever.
So the smaller
The
one.
Chrysler 200 looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All decked out and everything, and pristine condition. And then Jeff, used car guy, he's like, dude, I wouldn't normally say this, you gotta come look at the Sebring though. And I'm like, why? And he goes, just come look at it. So I went and I hopped in, and I'm like, it smells like new car inside. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. And he goes, yeah, look at the odometer. 5,807 miles.
What?
Damn.
I have pictures. 5,807 miles on it.
So just on the fact that it's Chrysler product and that the other day, Sunday, when I was cutting the grass, guess what drove by the house?
A Pacifica?
No.
A Pacifica hybrid.
Well, no, there's one down there.
Hemi brother Daniel.
No. Well, yeah. Right after you
Oh, yeah?
drove by the house, a mint, and I mean mint, the plastic chrome still good on it and that. Chrysler Concorde.
Really?
Really?
Yes. The LHS platform or
Yeah.
Concorde. I was like, God damn, look at that big boat. I'm like, that's either
Oh.
300M or it's and no, it was a little bit long. It was the Concorde. I'm like, son of a bitch.
You know,
I haven't seen a and it was in that perfect, like champagne gold. Like
know what's funny?
that
You know
early late 90s, early 2000s
You know,
Chrysler gold.
these
gold!
Yes.
These cars amuse me because it's like seeing K cars or seeing any of these other cars in the wild now. Like, when those cars were new, they were just cars, and none of us, being like car guys, being into gave an absolute
I was
shit
saying,
about any of
I was
them.
gonna say, we had a Sebring that
and they were
like
everywhere.
That body style.
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
Sebring.
But not to mention, like I said, they just cranked out hundreds of thousands of those cars as appliances, and now they're mostly gone. So now when we do see one of those little automotive cockroaches running around, we're like, holy shit, look at that.
Well, and it's funny, too, that because, like, when I was out there looking at it, one of the sales managers came out because he was in disbelief that this thing got traded in. And I said, so what are you guys going to do with it? And he said, well, we're probably going to put it on the lot. And I said, honestly, you guys should post this car on Cars and Bids or Bring a Trailer.
Yeah.
I said, you'll probably get more than what you want to try to get out of it. And the guy's like looking at me, and I was like, listen. And I went to like the work computer, and I was like, come here. I sit down, and I show him, and he's like, all you got to do is make an account, right? And I said, yeah, and pay a little auction fee. And they're like, all right. And today, the photographer that they hired, he was out there taking pictures. I wonder if I convinced them to put this thing on Cars and Bids or Bring a Trailer.
Huh.
Because honestly, I think that's the best place for it.
Yeah, for something like that.
Yeah, for something, it's not niche, but it is kind of niche, and it's got no miles on it. That's the thing that would reel people in for that.
Yeah.
And like I said, it literally smelled like new car inside still. It must have been an elderly person who just never drove it and kept it in the garage, because it's literally like the factory wax is probably still on it. It has the factory tires still on it.
Ugh.
Like, it probably needs, like, I think they need to, like, at least go through the fluids and put different tires on it, but other than that...
And then probably check hoses.
Yeah, check hoses.
Check consumables.
Speaking of tires, just picked up a thought. So, Jackie's car, and Charlie and Gail's car.
Anybody need tires?
And the other one that's rolling around with the automatic transmission. There is now a fourth 92 feature car.
The one with the pinstripe with the older guy, white hair, that drives it with the top down?
I think that's the automatic guy. This is another one. All three of those other cars have the same issue. They all have
the wrong wheels.
This one has the right wheels.
Okay.
Has 87,000 miles. Is for sale for $15,000.
That's not my price.
Tires are date coded 2006. But the car is actually in really good shape.
That's not a bad price.
Like I said, but
it's a 5-speed too.
Yeah, it's manual.
That's not a bad price.
So yeah, now there's 4 of those 92 feature Mustangs rolling around.
Nice.
And only one of them actually has the right wheels.
This one actually has the correct color wheels on it.
Also, I guess, I can talk about my little off-road escapade that I went to on Sunday. My buddy has got a...
Oh, yeah. I was so happy to see a Bronco actually doing Bronco stuff. Like, it was in the woods. It was flexing. It wasn't a pavement princess.
The funny thing is, he's a...
Let's be real. Mall crawling and dodging parking barriers is what Broncos do.
But, like, the funny thing is, like, he's a very dry person. And the first tree we hit, he goes... I paid $46,000 to do this with this thing, but like he's got a lot of off-road things done to it. But like
it was flexing really good.
Well,
so in other words, he went full Bob Newhart.
Pretty much.
Nice.
Well, I'll show you videos in a bit. But like, I was surprised too. Like just the technology, like because I haven't gone off-roading with somebody in a long time. I, like, honestly, when Paige and I were first dating, I had a friend with a Jeep, and I go out with him all the time, in this raggedy Jeep Cherokee that had no AC or anything.
Well, that was also the funnest.
Yeah.
But, well, here's the thing, like, so we're in the Bronco, and we're going, and first of all, this place was really unorganized. It kind of sucked. They didn't have any trail maps. They had maybe a couple signs where trails were at the trail,
Where'd
but
you
no.
go?
It used to be Horsehole. Up in Inglis.
Oh, okay.
And now it's called like West Florida Off-Road Park or something like that. And they have a big mud hole in the middle and then some outlying trails that go around the property. But there was no indication on where to go. Like, honestly, if we just drove into the front gate and just kind of waved at the person, we probably wouldn't have had to sign waivers or anything. Nobody was checking anything. But that's besides the point. So, I see a couple Jeeps driving in the woods and I'm like, follow them! So, we go follow them. And then we find this big sandpit area with these Mopar brothers doing donuts in their 3.8 Jeep Wranglers going, yeah, brother, and like, this is dumb.
You really
Pentastar, brother!
Like, this
you really wanted to be there with your Cayenne, didn't you?
Yeah. Kind of, but like,
he did.
Where we went with the Bronco, no. So, as we're sitting there just kind of watching this, we're just kind of looking around, and I see this tiny little white sign, and I said, hey, I think that's a trail. We drive over, and it just says, type trail. And he said, this sounds fun. I'm like, it does sound fun. Let's go in. So we're going in. It's a little tight through pine trees and whatnot. And I'm like, all right, it's very lightly bumpy. And I'm like, okay, this is cool or whatever. And then we get up to this area where the pine trees are set in the configuration of your bar, right? Within width of just the Bronco. And I'm like, how are we going to get through here? And he goes, oh, hold on. And he stops and he goes, we're going to do this, and he presses a couple buttons. And he's like, all right, we got trail turn on. I'm like, what the hell is trail turn?
Yeah, it locks the
It
wheel.
locks a wheel.
Yeah, and it literally just kicks around in place.
So like you start to turn,
Yeah.
and as you turn,
And it just
it'll
kinda
automatically lock. It'll lock that one back wheel.
Yeah.
and you start, and it'll
Dude, that
pivot,
thing,
and then you stop. You turn the other way. It activates that one, and you turn, and
we were squeezing into places that didn't look like we should have been squeezing through.
It's really cool.
It was
It
super
is
cool.
a really cool feature that they did.
And then that's where we hit a tree through there because we kind of overcalculated. And then we get out and we can find another trail. And then he's like, oh, here's another cool thing too. And I'm like, what? And this one was a little bit more of a bumpier trail.
A sway bar disconnect?
No, the trail cruise control. Like 3 miles an hour, just we're just cruising. And then we come up on this thing, and it's a sign that says, "This is what Kevin did." And we're like, "What?" And at that point, we ended up meeting up with one of his friends who helped set everything up. And he goes, "Oh man, yeah, this guy down here, Kevin came up with a bobcat and gone through the woods. And he just went, blip, 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 and they just call it what Kevin did. I don't know." I'm like, okay. So we start going through there, and that's when stuff got hairy.
That was the whoop-de-woo, the opposite whoop-de-woo.
And where we almost flipped.
Yeah.
And we're coming up through this like big gully, and he said something about a big hole, and I said he did, and all of a sudden we just go like this, and I'm like, oh, that's the big hole. And he's like, all right, hold on. He was like locking the diff, and he's like, all right, we're gonna go up this way. And no word of a lie, I'm in the passenger seat. And he goes to turn, and I go completely like this, and I'm able to be level vertically outside of the window, looking down at him, and he's like, I don't like this. And I turned around, and the back tire is like 4 feet up. I'm trying to put weight down, like leaning outside of it to get out of it. It was sketchy. So what Kevin did was pretty extreme.
Right.
But
See, but I love
Well, that was like
If
that.
I like the
if
technical stuff.
If
That's
I
what I
ever
like.
get, like, I've told Sabrina this, if I ever get one of those Broncos, which I've actually, like, thought about it and all that, I have to find a manual one.
Yeah.
So, and I understand with that. I'm not going to have the bigger 2.7. I'm going to have,
And
the
that 2.7 performed really well,
but
too.
I know I'm going to have the 2.3 in that, but one, you're giving me a manual off-roader, fuck yeah, and, like, it's a 7-speed, so my first gear, I can literally just let out the clutch and be like, okay, bye. Step out of the car and watch it go.
Yeah.
Well,
I want that. I want that.
80s Toyota solid axle
Oh, yeah.
4x4s, 22 RE,
oh, you should
22 RE, first gear in 4-wheel drive low. The torque multiplication, even at idle, is so great from the engine to the tires.
You just let out the
Brian,
clutch and
It
there you go.
just doesn't stop.
Full rock crawler exo chassis build with the bed chopped and everything, and a supercharged 22R singing through the woods.
That thing must have been a torque monster.
It was so cool watching him go through. And then at like the end of the day, we're getting ready to leave, and he's airing the tires back up because he's got onboard air and all that. And we're watching, and this guy is kind of like driving around the outskirts of the mud hole with a stock Gladiator and just going around the outskirts. And then decides that he wants to try to go right into the middle of the mud hole. We're like,
The mega trucks are getting stuck.
Exactly. And literally buries this in mud up to the bottom of the windows. And then he just sits there in the car, and he's sitting there with somebody, he's just kind of scratching his head. And we're looking at each other, we're watching this guy, because we're like on this raised
Sir,
part.
you can't park there?
So I was like, hey, do you need help? I'm like, dude, we got a winch. We can pull you. I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing. I'm like, you good? He goes, good. I said, okay, he doesn't speak English.
Oh, he's a tourist.
Yeah. But I'm like, all right.
That's a rental car.
I looked
That is a rental car.
I looked at my buddy Chris.
Hope he got the insurance waiver.
Yeah.
I looked at my buddy Chris and Pat and Kelly, who were with us in their Jeep, and I was like, you guys want to sit and watch? Yeah. And we went, Put the chairs out. All right, we got something at the end of the day to do. And this other guy, he must have been with him. He was in a kind of lifted Jeep, but he didn't speak English too. I could not tell what they were speaking to each other. Mm-hmm. It sounded European, some kind of almost Russian. And they're talking to each other.
Might have been
and
Dutch. Freaky deaky Dutches.
Or Polish.
The dude with the other Wrangler that is only slightly modified starts getting closer and closer, and me and Chris are like, dude, stop, don't get there. Then he tethers him up on the winch, and he starts pulling back, and the other guy's in park still. And he's just smiling as he's being tugged like this. And we're like, put it in reverse and go, and he goes, yeah. I'm like, no. Put it in reverse and put your foot on the throttle. And I went like this, and he goes, oh! And then I saw the reverse lights come on, and then he's just sitting there, and I'm like, I said, gas! He wants you to gas! Oh, he said, and then he just sat there again. I'm like, oh my god! And I did it again. He goes,
I only have one question for you. I have one question for you on this. Why were you not all sitting out there like this?
I think Chris recorded. I didn't. I was genuinely wanting the guy to get out. He got into a bad situation he should have never got himself into.
Yes.
And then I finally...
Yes. However, there was nothing that could have stopped you from going, this could be pretty good.
He finally started revving it up, and guess what? When he revved it up and the Jeep pulled on the winch, it came right out. And then we had to winch a Jeep out, and there was a guy that was driving around in his Jeep, and all of a sudden I see him stop, and he's got one of like the gyro things with the. I'm like, oh, this guy's recording a YouTube video, and he's over there laughing and everything. And I turned around and I said, Bronco pulling a Jeep for once, huh? And he said, I didn't see nothing. And I said, I looked down at Pat and I was like, hey, you're going to be on a YouTube video getting humiliated right now. And he's like, what? And I said, nothing. Just put on the gas when he pulls the winch. But no, it wasn't bad. It was very, like I said, very unorganized.
Oh, it's like that video of the Rivians out there in the forest.
Oh God, man!
Those guys were
wonderful.
Those guys were giving it hell.
Oh yeah,
or pterodactyls.
We showed you that.
Oh yeah,
and that was literally right here. God, man, say what you want about those things, man. The people that buy them aren't like, hey, look at me, I got an electric truck. They're like, hell yeah, brother, let's go.
That's one of those that I still want to drive, but I have gotten an up-close look at one of those things.
Their build quality is amazing.
Yeah, like the materials quality inside looked really, really nice.
I do love that pass-through on the back.
And all of the fit and finish around all of the body panels and the paint quality and everything and the way the glass fit in the car.
I don't know. It's some emojis from some person named Ty Oliver.
But hey.
I'm not even sure. Hello.
But,
thank you for chiming in.
But yeah, like I said, that thing looked really nicely built.
What's the Lexus? It's like the Land Cruiser, the GS something.
It's the GS, I think 5 now.
Yeah, it used to be the GS 470 or LX 470.
Yeah, it goes off the motor.
Engine display.
There was somebody out there with one of those, and he had a lot of work done to it, but it was also like really like clean.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that buy to use Lexuses like that and full on like
it was really nice though, and he was taking it right through the trails with everybody else. He was trying to jump it through the because the mud pit had ramps going around on the drier spots. He was trying to jump it too and everything, and I'm like, good job, man.
Well,
that's awesome.
I mean, underneath the skin, they are Land Cruiser.
Yeah. And I do love the new Land Cruisers.
What is it now? Like the FJ80 or FJ90?
I think it's FJ90 now.
But have you seen the AC controls in them?
No.
They are actual old school fucking slides.
It's not haptic shit.
No,
it's not buried in a sub menu on a screen.
No, it is actual proper old school like.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
I like that.
That Bronco, granted, like I said, he's got a lot of supporting mods for off-roading.
I'm gonna grab the other beer.
I was so thoroughly impressed with how well that thing did. And like I said, he beat the crap out of it. We hit multiple trees unscathed.
They are a very capable chassis. Just it's like a lot of Jeeps and like a lot of Brodozers. Most of those chassis will never do what they were designed to do.
No, and like that's like he sees like he bought it to do the off-roading stuff with it, and like I said, like I was thoroughly surprised. We had a lot of fun on this like little rock wall and some concrete pipe wall stuff, and like a lot of the extreme stuff on the What Kevin Did trail. That was exciting because I like the super technical stuff where like each person has to sit and think what they're doing, basically.
Or have someone have a spotter outside the vehicle.
Right, and that's I did a couple times. It was nice too because I'd never been out with him before, and I told him, I said, I have a lot of experience doing this, and he kind of shrugged it off, and then he's like, you do know what you're doing. I'm like, dude, like I really do. I've done this a lot. But he was showing me he wants to they have a front camera mod that you can do, and it's a plug and play to the ECU and everything, and you can pull up a camera showing what's in front of you, because when you get up to some of those spots, you can't see what's over it.
There's many off-roaders now on
That
the
run
market that have
One
that.
of y'all will have to read this in,
think
because I did not bring my glasses.
That's fine. I think the Gladiator has that.
You have a shark! And he took a bite out of the surfboard, and now he's drinking a beer?
Yeah, this is Lost Coast Great White Beer.
So now do you understand why, like, when I saw, especially the
definitely.
boxes, they were the same, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they both got fin creatures on it.
And it is...
Here, you want me to read it in?
Yeah, you read it in.
Yeah,
I'm
go
trying
ahead.
to, I'm
You
trying
do
to
the
remember
honors,
what...
Mike.
Okay, so it is a Great White Beer, 4.8 alcohol content. It's by Lost Coast Brewery.
Smells like
beer with natural flavors added.
Smells like wheat.
Great White Beer. Brewmaster Barbara Groom created this distinctively American version of a Belgian-style white beer. This full-bodied, unfiltered beer, surprisingly easy to
You even
drink.
got a female brew
Topped
beer.
with hints of coriander and citrus, provided by Barbara's secret blend of herbs. This is a delightful beer in any season.
Well, God dang
like
it,
I
Barb.
said, the weather turned hot, and when it was hot yesterday when I went and hunted beer, so that influenced my decision quite a bit.
All right, Barb, we're trying your beer.
Slancha.
Slancha. Whoa, what the hell is that?
Coriander.
That's something really, really nice.
What is that?
Hold on.
Whoa, that's not a flavor to come out of this color.
No, but
What
oh
is
man,
that?
I mean, it was initial coriander hit, but there is another herb on the back of that I cannot put my finger on.
You know what? I'm not even going to try to analyze it. I'm just going to call this one good.
Well, yeah,
Just-
no, I know that, but like it's great. I'm just
gonna
trying
enjoy
to,
this one.
You got me all being technical now.
I'm just going to enjoy this one.
Like that's almost like the Colonel's, 7 secret herbs and spices, or there's something. It's
Or
almost like a paprika.
Kind of. Or the formula to PB Blaster.
True.
Did you know the PB Blaster has no patent on its formula?
Yeah,
Because
Do
no
you
one
know
knows what
why?
the fuck it is.
because nobody knows what it is.
Each can's different.
Yeah, that because they don't have to file and tell what's in it, so...
And why do you think that, like, the directions in the can say, like, saturate it, like, don't worry, you can use a lot, like,
Yeah.
that's really yummy though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. There
What the
was
hell is
something
that,
else.
Barb? You did a good job,
Yeah,
Barb.
you
real.
did a good job. There was something else.
Yeah, and like I said, it actually amazed me that this is only the second beer we've had from them on the list.
What's the first one?
The Tangerine Dream.
That's it.
Yeah,
oh,
the absolute summer in a glass beer.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the heck
Okay.
is going on there?
What? I thought you were looking at the stream like something was wrong.
No, the stream's doing fantastic.
Stream. This computer's a champion, by the way.
Well, that was good.
What?
Like, I don't even want to. I don't even want to say what I'm thinking. But anyway,
Ow.
no, this right here is
No, it's
fantastic.
That's delicious. Lost Coast. That's the thing, though.
Lost Coast has we're 2 for 2 with them,
After
and they're
using
really.
Schaefer's penetrating lube, I'll never use PB Blaster again.
Really? Okay, Mike, explain.
Well, and see-
you can't bring that up and not explain.
But then you have that other one that I've been using, the Corrosion X.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
that Nick told me about, and
Nick-
it made me buy, and then I didn't realize that it was $26 fucking for the
Yeah.
can of it. So I use it sparingly, but it's one of those, what, oiled the chain on the mini bike that was completely stiff as anything.
Corrosion X.
That, and it's been perfect. You know what has broken off, loosened bolts and nuts that even soaking PB Blaster, like half a can of PB Blaster in, like for a week.
Corrosion X.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I went to do my turbo, I soaked everything in PB Blaster and still couldn't break anything loose. And then Nick told me about that, and I bought a can, and it was almost like laughable.
Yeah. Well, and
How
we
easily everything
used
came
it
off.
on Chris's Titan when we did the
Yeah.
brakes, and
Yeah.
did that not? I'm like,
It broke that shit right loose.
let it sit just for a minute. And then we didn't even need a breaker bar. It was just with a regular size wrench, just
Bop.
boop. That was it.
The other one that's really good is Croil.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The oil that creeps.
Croil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, creeping oil.
Yeah, that's pretty big on the aviation side of it too.
Well,
That's been a mainstay of the
because
aviation
that's you
stuff.
just spray on it and you
I
watch
used
it
TB on my stuck
soaking.
390, let it soak for days, did nothing. Sprayed Schaefer's, and 2 days later was able to knock Pistons out. That's cool.
Yo, Mike, you need to try this. It's Corrosion X. It is expensive. It is a decent sized bottle though. It's like a 28 to 30 ounce.
Yeah, it's a good size can.
It's not a little one. It's a big one, but you can use it on electrical. It does corrosion, lubricates, protect. Like it's
you know what the ultimate secret is for breaking rust stuff free? Like, not bolts, but like things that are heavily rusted together.
ATF.
Even better, you do 65% acetone and the rest ATF. And it will get seized motors unseized. That's what I just read.
Yeah.
Right on, I'll check it out.
Well, yeah. Well, most of the time, if you don't use the mystery oil and that, you just literally fill all the
That's all mystery. That's what mystery oil is.
On a stuck motor, you literally just fill everything.
It's a mystery. No one knows what's in it.
And just let it sit. But it's the detergents and all that shit in there.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, there's a guy I watch. Have you guys ever heard of? You guys ever heard of Jennings Motorsports?
Yes.
No.
So
I have I'm not familiar with it, but that name is very. So I've heard that name.
The guy who runs the channel Jennings Motorsports, I guess what he must do for work is he specifically buys extremely old vehicles and parts them out, but he gets them running, and he'll take an engine that's been documented sitting for 70 plus years, seized to the point where you can stand on a breaker bar and not turn the motor over, and he'll get them running and driving even. And that's the one big thing he does is the acetone and everything. But it's funny because one of the last videos he did, he was talking about
But did he fix
water.
a 5-cylinder Volvo with nitrous?
No, everything. Oh! Another channel I found in a Florida channel called Mr. Tune-It-All or something like that. He took a Hyundai Sonata.
Oh, Dr. Tunemal.
Dr. Tunemal.
Do you not know who Dr. Tunemal is?
No, I just found him with
Dr. Tunemal is the one that tunes pretty much all of Cletus's fleet. He was the one that rode with James on Sick Week.
Yeah, basically if...
That's who that is.
Yeah.
Did you see his Sonata nitrous video?
Yeah.
Fix the Sonata with nitrous. Nitrous is the solution.
I know.
Yeah. I wanted to comment and be like, I've done this with a Volvo.
No, that's Dr. Tunemal.
Yeah, that's Nate, Dr. Tunemal.
Okay, so I've been living under a rock then.
If you want to buy any of his merchandise, go to CletusMcFarlane.com. Also, you have until midnight to enter the Escalade.
Escalade drawing.
I just bought a LS George, Squirrel George repair shop that has Squirrel George on it and it says "How about now?" Because I really wanted something for Mr. Sam, but everything for Mr. Sam is sold out, and the only shirt that they have left does not have a medium and all that. And I was like, "Son of a bitch!" So, but I literally right before you guys got here, I'm like, "I need to enter." Anyway, what our title is, and we're 15 minutes into it and haven't talked about. We bought something.
Well,
no, Mike bought something.
No, I bought it.
He bought it for the channel.
Well, all I can do is just watch from afar because
he's just saying that to justify it.
Well, no, because I have to abide by like I said, Detective Callahan's Second Amendment.
It's one of those that I did not want to spend the money because I don't like spending money on myself and that. And Sabrina was like, "No, I just bought the laptop. I did this. Buy it." Mike,
the deal came up, and in all fairness to Mike, it was too good of a deal to pass up.
yes, and especially, but especially now that I've been going down the rabbit hole of I found really good YouTube channels about cars and camera. And that have been for years,
channels,
and I'm like, I am
absolutely for a long
time loving their content, and they've been just as long as we have been doing stuff.
You gotta follow Bum too. Bum's another good one.
But now on Marketplace, I'm looking, I'm like, wow, I really got a good deal on this. I got I paid a quarter of the price of what this should have been going for, and then I'm like, okay, I've had to put some parts into it. But I have under $70 worth of parts into it.
You're way into this thing.
And I have one more part that I need, two more parts, and then at that point I'll have maybe $100 into it.
Now, when he says he puts parts into it, what he meant was...
Well, no, I did do parts.
Well, he did do parts, but what we're saying is...
Well, anyway, I bought a mini bike.
That was
That's
a
what we were talking about.
He didn't buy a mini
people.
bike that didn't run and needed parts. He bought a mini bike that ran and rode.
And already had a Predator swap into it.
Yeah. So he's just buying parts to make the Predator more Predator.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I had to buy a jack shaft plate because the one had a broken stud where I couldn't put a tensioner pulley onto. That was my most expensive thing so far. That was $19.99.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I had to
It
do
does
some.
burnouts, though.
I had to do some modifications with the death wheel and all that, but $19.99.
Well, you still have the safety guard on your death wheel tool, so you're not full relying on safety squints.
I have a question. Like, you've uploaded some stuff to the TikTok, but you haven't uploaded anything to our main page,
No,
right?
because I don't have any like.
That's
big videos and
that's
stuff.
perfect because.
Now you can still do shorts.
Well, no. Well, that's the thing is, so after this episode, guys, since we're just talking about it on stream, I'm gonna record a quick video on the bike before I leave, especially because you want to start it up, make sure it doesn't leak after you did.
Oh
what
yeah,
you
I
did,
need
right?
to put the oil back into it now.
Yeah,
No,
you
it's fine.
definitely want to do
think-
that before you start it up.
Yeah, I think I should do a quick little video on it before I leave
Yeah,
tonight.
absolutely.
And then we'll put it on our regular
Yeah.
page here.
Yeah, you can pop that on the
So
Yep.
what I ended up buying is a like I've been trying to figure out what exact bike it is.
Some kind of little bike.
It is from everything we're getting at. It is a Baja Warrior 200, which would normally come with either a 196cc or a 200cc, depending on the year model. And that we're thinking it's an earlier 2000s one. It doesn't have so the tank that's on it normally would be a storage compartment, and normally there would be a tank on the actual little motor.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
I
this
think
has like
I think Zach called that perfectly. I think it's a Honda Shadow fuel
Yeah,
tank.
it's either a Honda Shadow or a Honda Rebel actual
Yeah, it looks like
motorcycle.
it
Well, that's
looks
what Zach
tank.
said, a Rebel.
Yeah,
A Rebel.
it does look
And-
like
I wish
a
you
Honda
would've-
tank.
And
Jesus,
so, but the
bastard.
thing is like, I have still not put gas in it, and I've been I probably put 15 miles on this because I've been doing our walking loop, which is 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
And just doing that and that and that. So I've put probably 15 miles on it, and I still haven't had to fill it up because it still has half a tank.
And
Yeah.
what motor has it got on it, Michael?
So it's got the 212 Predator, and which are amazing motors. So
is the 212 one of the Hemi Predators?
So there is both styles, and it depends on what's on the shelf. You gotta look at the part number.
Okay.
There is a non-Hemi one and a Hemi one. I'm pretty sure
I was-
this is a non-Hemi one.
Yeah, I was
And
wondering how to
it goes-
identify it without pulling the head.
the
Or
valve
the cylinder.
cover. You gotta look at the valve cover. The valve cover looks a little
Oh,
bit different.
okay.
I'm not exactly sure on how that goes yet, but that's what I've been hearing about and all that. Some people like the Hemi over the non-Hemi. Some people like the non-Hemi over the Hemi. I don't care. This thing runs great.
Oh no! It's
So-
Yeah, and
Can't
with the money that you're into this thing for,
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't matter
And
which
the great
one
thing
it has.
is if something goes wrong with the motor, $149. If I get a coupon, it's $100. I go to Harbor Freight
And
and
you
I
just get
pick
another
one
one.
off
You just
the
get
shelf,
another
and I'm like, here we go.
and bolted on.
There you go.
Done.
And so Mike has told me about it, and I kind of thought like, okay, whatever. It must be like like just a kid's mini bike. And I'm not saying that because of your size. I'm just saying because the price he got it for,
Well, no,
the
yeah,
pictures
it's
I saw.
hysterical.
For $400, you would expect to find the sketchy two-wheel
Yeah,
go-kart shit that was around when I was a kid.
Well, like, cause my
I
son,
didn't even spend that.
my wife.
I got it for $200.
Okay, well, even so,
Like I said, I'm like, wait, hold on, no, I'm
Yeah.
not even at that point yet.
no, like I said, but that's what you would expect to find for that money, not what you have
Well,
sitting out
I've seen
there.
kids riding them and stuff before too, and then I came over and I was with Zach, and we helped them do a little burnout on it. And then,
Little burnout. God
It was a
damn,
big
that
one.
thing fucking.
But then the next time I came over, earlier this week or last week, it was last week. Sorry.
No, it was this week.
It was, yeah.
It was this week
I
'cause
got
we
to
gave
ride
you
it.
a hat.
I wanted to go ride it because he had to get the brakes fixed, and I did not want to ride it without brakes because I am a very clumsy
Oh,
individual.
me
who
too.
trips over
me
here.
too. That's why the only thing I did was a little burnout up against the house with them holding the bike, and
So I took it for a spin, and that thing was frightening. Like, honestly, I just kind of cruised down the road, and I was like, all right, let's see what this thing's got. And I was sitting in, like, just the normal riding position on the seat with my foot on the foot pegs, and I slowed down, and I gassed it, and it
Cranked
pulled
that hog.
It pulled the front tire off the ground, and I said, whoa, okay. And I
You give Fleet and Squirrel's Honda, their hog, a run for the money.
I went down
at least a 30.
I went down to the stop sign over here, like by Gio's house, and I turned around, And then I was like, all right, I'm going to lean forward. I leaned forward and I gassed it. And shoot, that thing, it probably only does about 30.
No, right now is
definitely
the
30.
top speed is 30.
It felt like 30, but the thing is, it got to 30
it
in like a
quick.
couple seconds.
It's not like most that are like.
No, it felt like
it is.
what it compares to for me is when a couple of my friends in high school had racing 4-wheelers. That's what the power band feels like, because it's probably because the CVT and the motor and everything. When you jam it, the power band is immediate. You get all the horsepower.
CVT. It's just a centrifugal clutch and all that. And
that was just centrifugal?
Yeah.
Centrifugal clutch and a jack shaft.
And so before we go into any other stuff too, tell us what you did before. I'm going to be recording the video. What did you do to it today?
Done actually a lot of stuff. So did a new jack shaft plate so I could get the one front chain tensioner onto there, and that has helped it tremendously. Then actually fixed the brakes, so the cable was completely shot. Had to get a new lever with a new cable, ran that. Have a makeshift bolt running through, so when you hit the brakes you hear a loud clunk, but that's because it's not the right size bolt, but it at least keeps it in line, so you have a clunk of the bar going up like that, but it stays in place. And
yes,
you can
works.
stop.
It works.
It does.
Brakes work.
Dan's seen it. It stops. I told him, I'm like, give it a light squeeze, you'll hear a clunk, then squeeze. And
the brakes work great.
Oh yeah.
And
so it's
really
basically 2-stage brakes. It's like a two-stage trigger on a PPU.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't know. The way I was riding it, I kind of feathered it.
Oh, if you're off, once you get off the throttle, it'll start to decel pretty
quickly. And then you
quickly,
just kind of like slowly
and then,
lean into it.
Just slowly get
the
into
brake
the
works
brake.
fantastic.
And
it's just you hear a nice mechanical clink that lets you know the brakes are operating, which is good.
Yeah.
And what's the other thing that you did?
So today I pulled the clutch and the jack shaft and the plate off and took off the front cover and decided to go digging inside to remove the governor.
And that's what the video is going to be tonight.
So removing that governor.
And what's next after this?
I need to order another part because removing the governor is now going to make it to where it's going to rev to $6,000 versus the 4,000.
You need a proper chain cover too.
I have one, but I need to modify it
modification
again.
of it because that's the only thing that scared me was getting my leg close there.
Just push your leg out. I figured it out. Just make sure your foot's at the end of the peg instead of at the beginning
if it
of
goes
the peg.
too far astray, you and I can be shoe buddies.
And by the way, I was wearing flip-flops when I rode this last time.
But so now
we're Floridians. That's what we do.
Now we're gonna be at about $6,000 versus about 38 to 4,000.
Which I can't.
Probably 40 miles an hour.
I cannot wait to hear that motor rev out.
So
it sounds good too.
Yeah, that's probably going to be 40-ish miles an hour.
I haven't picked an exhaust out yet because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get one from Go Power Sports because of that. I'll be able to get one with a silencer on it that you can unscrew and all that, but better quality from the stuff that I found on Amazon.
And also, too, you do live in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
So.
Well, not just that too, but like that exhaust on that thing is a heat builder.
Yeah.
Because it's just a chunk on top of the engine, and like it gets really hot down there.
Yeah.
And then like if you do finagle your legs the right way when you're going, all you feel is hot air blasting onto your leg.
But
it'll be nice to have it redirected.
The next thing is I can either because I have a performance carb kit for it that I found out the price of that performance carb kit and but it is a Mikuni 22 millimeter performance carburetor.
Japan.
They take the same as a lot of old Honda carburetors. I just annihilated that one.
There's some freaking pterodactyls flying around in here.
So the reason I can't use I need a new throttle cable is because I have to have that little ball at the end because the way this comes in is it feeds in through the top and it has a sleeve that's in the middle.
Shoot.
And then so it has to lock into there, kind of like how it locks into like the actual
that makes sense. One of my Robot Cantina videos, he had to do the same thing because he used that carburetor on one of the Predator motors.
It's not like here where we just have it screwed down.
Okay,
I need that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
But in the meantime, while I order that, I mean that's also again only $9.
And that's honestly going to probably be your second biggest horsepower jump. So
what I could do is, because the kit also came with a whole bunch of carburetor jets.
oh yeah, we jet it and tune the carb.
The stock one, you drop the bottom bowl, you take out the emulsifier and the jet in there, and you put the bigger jet in there. Mm-hmm. Put that back up, and then I put the cone filter, because it actually comes with like a cone, like a full-on like K&N thing, with a actual intake like runner, and that you can use that on the stock carburetor. If you reject the stock carburetor, it's almost just as good. It doesn't flow as well, but
it'll flow better than it does now.
And just doing that, you get about 1.5, 2 horsepower gain, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when it goes from
percentage-wise, that's huge.
When it goes from 6.5 horsepower to 8.5,
in coupling, you're going to be revving that motor out to 6,000 freaking RPM.
So the next thing I really want to do is buy new.
Sounded like shit.
That sounded terrible, didn't it?
Horrible.
Buy new valve springs. It'll be a total of $10, and it'll be
a total of $10.
Oh yeah. So but the new valve springs, they're a 15-pound one instead of the 7-pound ones on there.
Yeah, that's true, because
that helps with the valve float.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Was it a pterodactyl?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
But no.
Yeah, it just got warm here in Florida.
Well, it's our local pest control hasn't been out and about yet.
Yeah, like it just got hot here in Florida.
This thing has been amazing. I've been giddy with it. Like I know, like it's still new, but still, like
the messages coming through. The messages coming through on the group chat are pretty hilarious.
I forgot we had your weird car thing. Should we say or do it?
Go ahead and bring it up. It'll be quick.
Go ahead and do it. Yeah,
right, here we go.
It'll be quick.
This is going to be Brian's weird car thing.
So I read this article a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half ago.
Is it an auction car?
No. We have an auction car, but
what is that?
So
it'll be coming up here in a second on the screen.
So Jeff Bezos.
Oh yes.
So Jeff Bezos is back in this little company called Slate Motors, and they're saying they're going to be delivering a $25,000 EV little work truck pickup trucklet thing, and apparently that's it. That's been confirmed by a couple of outlets, including like Wired and stuff like that.
It almost looks like a Mighty Max.
It looks like a Bronco.
Yeah, it kind of like it looks like a proper little.
No, not for nothing.
It almost looks like a miniature.
Like that's.
Yeah.
That looks like a. That's like.
Or Landy, or an old Landy.
It's definitely something they cut, because you can see here that.
Well, no, it's probably that's like a door shut line. It's probably an all new. It's an all new vehicle.
You know what that actually fully reminds me of? The Jeep trucks. Not
the old Comanches.
The old Comanches.
But
with that just straight down like that.
So supposedly this company, backed by Jeff Bezos, their plan is supposedly to come out with a $25,000 EV little pickup trucklet thing.
That's for the flagship EVs, I guess.
But I mean, when you really look at the size comparison to the truck on the bed, and you look at the cab of the rollback, and you look at the size of the window opening on the rollback compared to what's on that. That's not a little truck.
No, that's a big truck.
Yeah, that's like...
Because that's at least a 20-foot rollback.
Yeah, that's like GMT 800 size truck right there.
That's a big truck.
You know, it's not small.
Huh.
But...
Yeah, we can't do anything small anymore.
But the thing is, though, $25,000? I'm going to put that on the same page as the $19,999 Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen one of those? Because I haven't.
Well, not in person. I've seen... Supposedly it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I looked at the styling of it, and it has a regular windshield and a regular 3-box design, and it has a regular grille with round headlights.
And it's square.
You know, if the interior follows that same...
It looks like steel wheels.
Like if the interior follows that same utilitarian thing, that would be freaking cool.
Let me take a hose to the interior.
Well, and on that note, it's
honestly, let's see if we can run it through a car wash without bricking it.
True.
We start with an undercarriage.
Speaking of those, when I was looking for our auction car,
2024
Foundation Edition Cybertruck, with 6,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
It's probably $120,000 new.
Yeah.
Guess what it was bid to?
50.
66 grand.
Ah, that was close.
And it didn't sell. But the comment section was an absolute cesspool because of everything that's going on with that. But the seller of the truck even did say that the bidding was pretty much in line with what he was offered as trade-in for the vehicle at a regular dealership. So, wow. That's nearly a 50% hit in depreciation in a year.
Congratulations.
Holy
They know what it's like to own a Jaguar.
Yeah, holy hell.
And on
That's
that note,
wild.
we're going right into the auction car.
Is this a laser?
It's a flippin' laser.
Yes, I saw the back end. I
Brian?
didn't see the decals or that. I just saw the taillights and I'm like, I think this one's a laser.
It looks like an unmolested laser too.
So this is the later version. So this is a 1992 Plymouth Laser RS Turbo, 5-speed
Custom.
manual, 4G63 turbo, 4-banger, all-wheel drive, unmodified. It has
So this is the laser version of the GSX.
Yeah.
It's the laser version of the Eagle Talon.
Well,
yeah,
And,
but
and the
GSX,
Mitsubishi
though.
Eclipse.
Yeah, the GSX.
Yeah, GSX.
It's
Yeah,
all-wheel
like
drive
they
and
were all
turbo.
the same car.
It's a 4G63 car.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
but
what I
that's-
mean. Like it being the all-wheel drive
Yeah,
one.
but
and
that
it's
is-
the
that is-
GSX.
Off too.
But that is the later version. So it
For the war.
you can
That
see
is
there,
for
like I
the
said,
war.
it's got a little separation on the dash going. It's not a perfect car.
No, that was factory.
I'm just saying though, it's got a few little things here and there,
No,
like
I
as far as
noticed
like
little-
scuffs and scrapes and that sort of
I
thing.
noticed some smudgies.
But
like
yeah, it
right
has
there.
85,700 miles. It is
Wow.
completely stock and unmodified.
Wow.
No accidents or mileage discrepancies according to Carfax.
Where's it located?
I see mountains in the background.
I'm just surprised for how clean it must have been garage kept, you know?
Boise, Idaho.
Huh. It's super clean.
Yeah, like I said, I mean it's
really clean.
Almost at that one front picture, the angle that it was at, it almost looked like a
Shut up.
early
Shut up.
2000s.
Shut
No,
up.
you know what I'm going to say.
I do.
A Buick Century.
yeah, kind of.
It did. It looked like a Buick
It's like
Century.
with the yellow headlights. Oh,
So it
Mike's
has-
going in 10,200 already.
So it has a new timing belt, water pump, valve guide seals, valve cover gasket, camshaft position sensor, ignition coil, spark plugs, and fuel filter. In 2024, it had 4 tires replaced.
That's a hard call right there.
Also, engine oil filter changed and AC was recharged, so it's leaking some. But I
Look
mean,
at that Century.
But goddamn, look how old it is.
Does it mention how many owners it's had?
It does
Hold on,
not.
right there. Come on.
Oh,
Tell
and
me that
also-
doesn't look like a Century.
And also, late 2023, it's got new front axles. So it has one key, the owner's manual, the brochure, a car cover, and the stock cigarette lighter.
Yes.
That's a hard call, man. That's a hard call right there.
But
And
it's
it was
the
and
fact that
the
it's
exterior,
the
the exterior was repainted due to just clear coat peeling and color fading.
I really like the
I
color.
just-
yeah,
I do really like that
honestly-
color combination.
For this type of car, that just furthers my thoughts into maintenance.
Yeah,
that they painted it like that. That's
yeah. Like I said, it's
somebody took care of it.
yeah. This car was loved by somebody. Somebody really liked this car and kept it in good shape for a long time.
Oh, but it's the fact that it's the laser and not so you're not gonna have the Eclipse
Tax.
yeah, and I mean I understand it's still a 1G. Actually, to be
I got a
honest,
number in
to be honest, I actually prefer the Dodge versions of the 1Gs more than I mean, even though they got the pop-ups and that.
I got my number, and I always say it first, so I'm gonna wait.
Yeah,
for you.
well, and it's one of those.
Mike says 10-2.
Yeah, other Mike says 10-2, which is that's a damn good price.
Like I said, I mean these were a little less common than the Eclipse.
Yeah.
I mean the Eagle Talons was probably the most obscure of them because the whole Eagle brand as it was.
No, the Plymouth Lasers were the most obscure.
Yeah, but I mean
it's one of those you will see more of. Like you'll see the Eclipse and the Talon versus a laser. Like it's at the point you never see a laser anymore. You can see you'll still see Talons, and that especially on the 2Gs because of the wing, the spoiler, the biplane spoiler, and all that stuff. But 8-9.
8, 9, 10, 2. Where are you at?
I was gonna say 8-6. Come on, you got to say 8-9.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
Because we're all wrong.
$10,101.
So I won? Mike went over.
That's true.
10-2. He went over by $100, so I
No way that just happened. He went over by only $100.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
No, $99.
No, well, yeah, 99. Sorry.
$99. Yeah, $99.
Mike, in my eyes, you won. I want you to know that. Don't let him have that glory.
You were so close.
But
so close.
So far.
So far away.
I'm surprised that you and I had the solid guess really close to each other though.
That
We're usually way out of the ballpark with stuff.
the 10 grand range is what
I
was
thought
thinking.
I just kind of thought it was overkill, to be honest.
But yeah, like I said, I saw that one. The other choice was an all-wheel drive Olds Bravada, but not obviously not turbo.
The red one.
The red one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the one that was on Cars and Bids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like I said, so I saw that one, and I'm like, I know for a fact we have not done one of these before. Because that's the first time I've seen any of those three of that generation.
Price is Right rules.
There's always Price is Right rules.
Well, anyway, guys, we're going to go mess with the mini bike, and I'm going to film a little video, and we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll be back in a couple weeks, and all four of us will be back.
Also, check out Old School Garage. He just did a new logo, and it looks really cool.
And also, there's a show. There's a little car meet coming up there.
Yep. And May,
pretty damn
up
soon.
in Napa, will be posting to our Facebook.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Bye, guys.
Bye.